My first time to meet Robert was, I think, at the university.
I saw her in 2004. I was seeing this fine girl.
So we could usually meet around Nkrumah Hall.
Seeing this girl walking from down the Faculty of Science past Nkrumah Hall, sometimes coming to Nkrumah Hall to have discussions with classmates, some of whom are my friends. And I told some of my friends that, I think she's a fine girl.
We had very many friends around us that knew him. I personally didn't know him. On several occasions that we met, we never even said hello to each other. But we could see each other. The face was very familiar.
But that was it. I was also concentrating on my studies. I let her be.
But then I think around third year when we were about to leave, I was looking for music around. And then some friend of mine told me, I know a guy who has nice music. So we happened to look for this guy who has nice music.
One time she came to my room.
The room we entered, I actually found the same guy I usually find around the hall.
I'm one of those guys who had a very nice room in Nkrumah Hall. So people would come to my room to borrow music, to borrow movies. So one time one of the guys comes, the classmates comes with her to borrow her movies. She comes to my room. I'm like, okay.
So I took my flash and shared music. Again, we didn't speak.
I didn't even say anything. They borrowed the music.
And we left.
Until we finished university, then I had a friend, Jemba Peter. You know, we're trying to make ends meet as guys after school. So one day we say, let's have a meal at one of the restaurants close to Orient.
I had just jumped out for lunch.
So as we eat, I see this campus fine girl in the other corner. So I tell Jemba, that girl, I know her. Peter tells me, well, why don't you say hello? So at the end of our meal,
he meets me
and say, hi, how are you?
I'm like, I'm okay.
Honestly, I didn't even know her name. So I ask her, how are you? My name is Owen. What's your name? She says Mary. I asked her, is my name familiar? Is my face familiar?
His face was familiar.
She kind of says, no, yes, no, yes.
But who are you? Then he tried to refreshen my mind.
Then I'm like, yes, I think you know me. I was in Nkrumah Hall. You one time came to my room.
I'm like, oh, I do. How are you?
It's good meeting you. What are you doing with yourself? She tells me, yeah, I'm working close by.
So we had lunch, but I paid for myself. Let me put a disclaimer.
I'm like, do you mind giving me your number?
We kind of exchanged numbers, and that was it. So he left, I also left. But he never even called the next day or the other day.
I think it took me about a week or two to call her again.
But after like a month or two, I get this phone call again. Hi Mary, how are you? I'm this guy. Then he started to narrate the ordeal of the lunch. I'm like, oh, how are you doing? Because usually we expect these calls immediately after we meet the person, but it wasn't the case.
Yeah, later we met.
Randomly, we tried to link up for a date or two. But on all those occasions, we failed. The first one, I just didn't turn up. After some 6 months, we meet again in our other usual places. Probably that second meet brought us a little bit more closer. And then one thing led to another. Hello, how are you? And that was it. Everyone who knows Robert knows that when you meet him and have a conversation with him, you cannot forget everything he has told you. Because usually there are very few words. You will meet Owen and he will tell you 10 words in an evening of 2 hours. But very important.
If I have a problem with you, I'm patient. That's my weakness. I'll talk something small and give it a chance to change. Now, if Mary wants to tell you that, oh, you're not right, she'll express it in 1,000 words. And that's not me. When I love someone, it's beyond physical that you see. It comes naturally. I won't tell you that I liked her bats, I liked her this. I love this song by Bebe called love you every day.
I will love you every day. Hey, 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 hey. I've flown around the world a million times and I've seen a lot of places and faces, but I'm always back to you.
If you listen to Bebe Cool sing Love You Every Day, you'll get what I'm trying to say. There is no single reason. I won't say that I found her wearing this and I liked her. I didn't meet her and said, "Nkwagala, nkufirako, nkuba, bichi bichi." I'm not that kind of person.
It was not the normal vibing thing that I can talk about. It was really extraordinary.
If you pick up your phone and you're like, let's go hike, let's travel, it's those bits that make it up.
It was actually something that I found strange, of like, why are you making me meet your parents before you even actually tell me what I'm doing with you, or I tell you how I feel about you. You know how girls be? I had to go and talk to some friend of mine called Brenda. I told Brenda, you know what? There's something I don't like about this guy. Every time we're supposed to meet, I think it's about the two of us, I see his father in the picture. Then Brenda was telling me, Mary, you know what? You need to go slow with that guy because you're meeting the parents. It's actually like you're concealing things. So we started dodging, like calls. I dodged the calls.
The times I called her over the weekend and she wouldn't pick my calls.
It is very rare to find just a guy who is young, has never given birth before, who has a stable job, and is speaking into marriage, not even just courtship. So for us who pray, sometimes you actually believe that this is probably your last card from God. I remember one random day, he was traveling to Mbarara. Then he calls me and he tells me, Mary, I forgot to give Daddy some money. I told him, oh, send someone to Kololo. I'll actually help you with the money. As I was in office, the gentleman I was actually seeing was a duplicate of the guy I talked to all the time. I quickly went, I picked the money and I gave it to him. But later on, as years went on, I actually now believe that it was not about the money. He was actually sending his father to approve a certain chick he wants to talk to.
Honestly, my father is my best friend. And by Maria meeting my dad, he was meeting my best friend. My best friend who will not say that that woman is not good for you or that woman is all this. No.
I don't remember Owen actually sitting down to tell me, Mary, I love you.
Owen, that one.
I cannot actually tell anyone what vibe lines Owen dropped to convince me on anything. But I actually remember the acts implied very many things that I had to really get out of my shell and understand the situationship that we are in. Then later on, because of the connection, the closeness, so my world became about him and my work. And that's how I think our chemistry started.
I started wanting to monitor what she's doing.
He drew me from the life of, you know, when you're dating someone and he complains about you being out or the particular night.
I would start lecturing her, counseling her. What are you doing with your life? You're wasting your life. You're supposed to be better than that.
I was like, who complains about someone going out on a Friday? There was not just a boyfriend thing or husband, but there was a parent in him.
In my mind, I was saying, this campus fine girl is likely to go astray in her life. How do I help and bring her back?
Someone changing your sense of direction towards certain things. Like, Mary, we need to be here on this day. Then on Saturday, when you think you're going to go to the beach and you find loud music, he will take you to the zoo. At my age, someone taking me to the zoo, sincerely. The way he was doing his things in a very different way was really a tick for me in everything. Because at his age, the things he could speak about, the plans he had, were not for an ordinary young man. I've always felt I'm number one priority in his life. If today God took both of our lives, I think he has done 90% of what he should have done in my life. Everyone who sees me calls me Maria. When he met me, he insisted on calling me Mary. And to me that was really too traditional of calling me Mary. But he kept calling me Mary because I want to conduct yourself like the Holy Mary.
I looked at Mother Mary as an all correct and formidable woman, biblical.
But sincerely, the Holy Mary in heaven and Mary here in the world was too huge a challenge.
I didn't think that maybe I would marry a woman called Maria, but I had that affection of the name. I was like, wow, she must be righteous. She must be perfect. And then you know the Afrigo song, Maria, Kwesunga, all that. All that added up. I don't call her sweetie, I don't call her boo-boo, I just call her Mary. Until recently, at the beginning of 2018, when they released the movie, the series.
That Serename of the Narcos.
Imagine you were born in a poor family, in a poor country, and by the time you were 28 years old, you have so much money you can't even count it.
Señores, yo soy Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria.
Pablo Escobar had all this wrongdoing, killing people and what? He was a mafia.
He was a drug dealer.
But he was
a family man. Escobar used to call his wife at some point Teta.
So at some point as we were watching this series, he refers to the wife as Teta.
And this is how the Teta thing happens. So usually he could call me Teta. I'm like, what is this? Are we in the movie or we are in this? So
the way Pablo says, Teta, I love you, he means it, and Teta listens. She believes in him. So that's the Maria I adore.
And he doesn't want to call me names people call me. He will always fight not to call me what the general public calls me. Everyone calls you Megan when you're out. Megan, how are you? He will not call you Megan. There he will drop his Teta name. I've not given Owen a nickname. When I'm actually pissed when I call it, I just abbreviate the Owen and I call him like, oh, are we together on this? That's he understands that Mary is pissed. When we had just started becoming serious, he posed the question to me, asking me, when do I want my introduction? I challenged him. I told him, no, I don't want an introduction when we are still renting. I want a home. Little did I know that I had just started something that I wouldn't stop.
I was a guy who wanted to be rich at 27.
We started looking for a place, and it was making me laugh. He tells me, someone has told me there's land this side, there's land the other side. He said, okay, he will buy the land, but he will not build.
I wanted to be married at 27 with my own mansion, with my own country home.
So he goes ahead and gives me what I really asked for.
At some point I was on a trip, I say, I think this is the time. The moment I travel back to Uganda, I should propose. So I go to this shop in the country where I was, I get the ring, I come back.
I'm told there's a time he actually bought the engagement ring and he put it on hold. Then in my heart I was like, why weren't we doing the wedding like he had proposed earlier? Because I told him, build the house, then we do the wedding. Now the pressure was not onto him because he had popped the question sometime. Now the pressure was on me. But I said, I'm going to play this game smartly. I will not ask for the wedding again.
Then I think Abigail's baptism was due.
Everyone who knows Abby knows she likes beautiful things. I put in my money to do beautiful deco. Little did I know that actually the deco I was doing was basically for me.
All the arrangements were aligned into Abigail's baptism. It was a Saturday, we baptized her. Then We go home.
I decorated, I put balloons, I put umbrellas. So everyone came through. My mom was there, his parents were there.
Nobody knew about my proposal.
So in the evening, after the kids cut their cake, we want to see people off, he calls me. I had already removed my shoes because they were heels. Then he told me, Mary, I want you to go back in the house and put on your heels. But remember, he's speaking over the microphone. And I'm like, oh, when you're on the microphone, why are you speaking when everyone is hearing that I have to go and put on my shoes? So I go, I put on my shoes, I come back thinking probably he wants us to give a speech, a thank you note to everyone who has come through. So out of the blue, I see them, they're giving me a present. I open, and inside the package was a ring. But that moment doesn't come until someone really goes one knee down. Then me knowing, oh, and I was like, oh no, tagenda kufuka mida. So let me even wait and see what is going to happen. So
I pull out the ring
from the box, and he gave it to my firstborn, Dylan. Then later on, he actually went on his knees. Everyone started shouting, you know, that kind of moment. And then he proposed.
and I was ready for a no or yes, whatever comes. Then she says yes. Then I said, okay, if you say yes, then Maria, I love you, and I know you know that.
Oh, and I just want to tell you that I appreciate everything you've done for me.
Be that woman, be the Mary in the Bible.
I promise to be the woman you've always wanted me to be.
I have lots of dreams for our children, Avram, Dylan, Samba, Abigail, my princess. I want us to work hard. I don't want to be poor, I want to be rich. And out of my rich, I'll build a church.
May the Lord bless you. May you always find a special place in your heart to know that I'm the woman you married on this day. I love you.
I love you.